I'm holding it in my hands right now, this cheap ceramic mug that still has the $4.97 price sticker glued to the bottom like they wanted to make sure I saw exactly how little I was worth. The words are already fading, but I can still read them clear as a scar. World's okayest daughter. Outside the window, my little sister is laughing so hard she has to lean against the hood of her brand new Obsidian Range Rover, the one with the ridiculous gold bow still tied across it like it's a present from heaven itself. $120,000. That's how much my parents decided one daughter was worth this Christmas.
I'm Harper.
31 years old. And I'm done. I grew up in a house that looked like a magazine spread, white columns, manicured boxwoods, the kind of place neighbors slowed down to stare at. Inside those walls, I learned very early that love wasn't something you earned with report cards or overtime shifts or being the kid who never caused problems. Love was something that poured over my sister Lennon like warm honey the day she was born and never quite reached me. I was the afterthought with good manners, the one who made things easier for everyone else. When Lennon cried at 3 in the morning, Mom stumbled past my room without a glance. When I had strep throat and a 103 fever in 3rd grade, Dad told me to walk it off because Lennon had a dance recital that night. I watched from a hallway in my pajamas while they took photos of her in a sequined tutu. I still remember the taste of the popsicle I wasn't allowed to have because sugar makes little girls hyper. I told myself stories to survive it. She's the baby, that's why. She's prettier, that's why. She needs more help, that's why. I swallowed every excuse until they calcified in my stomach like stones. I paid for my own braces because Mom said Lennon's private school tuition ate the budget. I worked doubles at Waffle House to cover textbooks while Lennon got a clothing allowance that could have paid my rent twice over. I graduated summa cum laude and they sent a text. Congrats, honey. Followed by 17 photos of Lennon at sorority formal. I bought my own condo at 27, a tiny one-bedroom with a view of the river, and when I told them I'd closed on it, Mom said, "That's nice, dear. Lennon's thinking about studying abroad next semester. Isn't that exciting?" Every year I came home for Christmas hoping this would be the one where they finally noticed I'd grown into someone worth celebrating. I wrapped their gifts with shaking hands, chose things I knew they wanted, things I'd saved for months to afford. And every year, I left with a smaller piece of myself. This year I walked in with a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle for Dad and the exact pearl earrings Mom had circled in a magazine last spring. I left with a clearance bin mug and the realization that I'd been dying by inches since I was 5 years old. Mom caught me staring at the sticker on the bottom. Harper, honestly. Some people get nothing at all. You should be grateful. Grateful. The word landed between us like a slap. Outside, Lennon revved the engine just to hear it growl. Dad whooped like a teenager. The sound crawled under my skin and nested there. They made me pose for pictures. Dad arranged us like dolls, Lennon front and center, one hand on the bow, the other throwing a peace sign. Me half a step behind, arms stiff at my sides, smiling the dead smile I perfected in middle school. Try to look happy, Harper, Dad muttered without taking his eyes off the screen. It's Christmas. The camera flash went off and I knew exactly how that photo would look. Lennon glowing like the sun, me a shadow stitched to her heel. Back inside, Mom handed me a stack of plates. Help set the table, sweetheart. Lennon's too excited to focus right now. Of course she was. I folded the napkins into the perfect swans Mom taught me when I was 9, the same year she told me swans were elegant and I should try to be more like them. My fingers remembered every crease, while my mind played an endless reel of every time I'd been asked to make myself useful so Lennon could shine. Brunch was torture in cashmere and crystal. Dad raised his mimosa. To my girls. Lennon went first because of course she did. I'm so thankful for parents who never gave up on me even when I messed up. Mom teared up. Dad squeezed Lennon's shoulder like she'd just announced a cure for cancer instead of barely passing her associate's degree after 7 years of community college. Then every head swiveled to me. I felt the weight of their expectation pressing on my sternum. I said, low enough they had to lean in, I'm thankful for clarity this year. Mom's fork stopped halfway to her mouth. Lennon smirked. Dad pretended he didn't hear and started talking about bowl games. The rest of the day unfolded like a slow-motion car crash I couldn't look away from. Neighbors came to gush over the car. Cousins took selfies in the heated seats. Lennon floated through it all in a cloud of new leather smell and victory. I stood in corners holding a mug that mocked me and answered, "I'm fine," so many times my tongue went numb. Lennon found me in the hallway later, leaning against the wall just trying to breathe. "You okay, Harp? You look like someone kicked your puppy." She laughed at her own joke. "Mom says you've been weird all weekend. Jealousy's a bad look, sis." I tasted blood where I'd bitten the inside of my cheek. "I'm not jealous, Lennon. I'm tired." Tired of what? Being perfect. She rolled her eyes. Some of us actually need help. Some of us aren't robots who don't feel anything. I wanted to scream that I felt everything, that I'd been feeling everything alone for 31 years, but the words stuck behind my teeth, like always. That night I waited until the house went corpse quiet. 2:17 a.m. The numbers glowed red on the oven clock while I stood in the dark kitchen in my coat and boots. I laid my house key on the marble island, the one they gave me when I was 16, and still believed I belonged here. Next to it, I placed the note I'd rewritten 6 times until it stopped shaking. "Thank you for the clarity. Life is fair, right? Don't call. I won't answer. Harper." I looked at the mug one last time. Part of me wanted to smash it right there, let the shards scatter across their perfect hardwood like broken promises. Instead, I wrapped it in the sweater I'd worn at 15, the one Mom said made me look washed out, and zipped it into my duffel. Evidence. Talisman. Whatever it needed to be. I slipped out the front door without a sound. The cold hit me like baptism. Lennon's Range Rover sat under the motion lights, gleaming like a sleeping dragon guarding everything I was never allowed to have. I walked past it to my 10-year-old Subaru parked on the street, the one I bought with my own money, the one nobody ever asked to take pictures with. I didn't look back until I reached the stop sign at the end of the block. The house was dark. No porch light flicked on. No silhouette in the window. They didn't even wake up when I left. They never do. 6 months later, I'm sitting on my balcony drinking coffee from a mug I bought myself that says "World's Best Harper" in ridiculous glitter letters. The river glitters below me like it's in on the secret. My phone is quiet. Every number blocked. Every bridge torched clean. I kept the old mug for a while, hidden in the back of a cabinet like a loaded gun. Then one Saturday morning, I carried it down to the dumpster. I didn't throw it hard. I just opened my hand and let it fall. It shattered on impact, white shards and faded blue letters exploding across the bottom like ice breaking on a frozen lake. I stood there listening to the echo until it faded into traffic noise and birdsong. I'm not the okayest anything. I'm the daughter who walked through fire and came out glowing. I'm the daughter who finally chose herself. So tell me, truly, if you've been handed that mug while your sister got the keys to everything you were told you didn't deserve, would you have left quietly in the dark like I did? Or would you have shattered it right there on their kitchen floor and let them choke on the pieces? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And for the first time in my life, I'm not afraid of what you'll say.